Today I want to talk about two things in particular. Number one is perspective, and number two is possibilities. You are welcome back to another conversation on TY's Thoughts, and I know that we haven't done this in forever. First, I do apologize, and I know that different people have reached out to me. This year, 2021, has just been one of those years, right? And I just needed to take time out to focus on other things, and some other things had to be on the back burner. But by the grace of God, I think I can say that I'm back. Amen. And no, it's not a teaching video, so I'm sorry guys are wondering what's going on. She's writing. No, I just literally framed this and sat down, and there was a board beside me, and yeah, I had the bright idea to bring out a marker. But I kind of like this actually, so every time we're going to talk about something, maybe I'm going to start writing on the board. Yeah, I kind of like it. But anyways, you're welcome back to TY's Thoughts. My name is Oluwatoyin Oyemade, and today, like I said, I want to talk about two things. Maybe also part of the lessons that I have learned, like I always do in the first 6 months of 2021. Yippee! We're in July, and July is a very special month for me. If you know, you know. Hashtag. But I want to talk about perspective and possibilities. Now, I love stories. I love real life stories. If you were to give me a selection of maybe 3 films or 4 films or 5 films, and one of them was a true life story about someone, whether it's in documentary format or it's in fiction format, I would probably first tilt towards, this true life story. And why? Because I truly believe that stories are powerful. And especially, you can watch a fiction film and it teaches you many things about life, but personally for me, there's something in the mind, in the psyche of a human being that can say, it's film, Joe. It's because it's film. Life is not like that, So even if you wanted to draw out some inspiration or comfort or encouragement, sometimes there's something in your mind that can make you think it's a film, it's a story. Life might not be like that, which is why I love true life stories. I love autobiographies. I love reading memoirs. Just give me a true life story, and you will find me there. In the many things that these true life stories do for me, 2 things they really do for me: perspective and possibilities. And what do I mean? Now, first things first, what is your perspective? Your perspective is your viewpoint of life. It is your paradigm of life. Actually, I was going to quickly find out. So let me just get my phone. Google to the rescue. 1 second. Okay, so I'm back. Google to the rescue. Now, I know the definition of perspective. Like I said, it's a viewpoint of life. But these days as well, I don't pretend like I know anything. Sometimes we think we know, but it's always just good to get accuracy in knowledge. So just like I said, perspective here, Oxford Languages says, a particular attitude towards or way of regarding something, a point of view. So a perspective is the view that you have towards life, towards a situation that is happening to you, towards an occurrence in your life, towards something that you hear about someone. And so many times we're forming our perspectives, our viewpoints of life from the different things that we see all around us every day, which also means that a perspective is not just positive. You can also have a negative viewpoint of life. You can have a negative perspective to the things that are happening to you in your life or the things that are occurring in the lives of others. So there are so many things that can also give you negative perspectives, right? So, but for me, when I read my books or when I watch the things that I watch, I always try to look for the positive perspectives, that these things bring to me. And why do I do that? I believe that one of the things that help sanity in life and that help just being able to go in, day out, in what is the intensity of life, is to always have the right perspective, is to ensure that the things that are forming the viewpoint of your life in general is selling you positivity, is selling you inspiration, is selling you encouragement, is telling you, even if you're going through this now, have the right perspective to it. Things will not turn out bad. Things don't have to be the end of the world. For example, maybe you failed at something, you failed at a subject, maybe you're a student, you failed at a job, you failed at a task, you failed at trying to build a business, and somewhere in your mind you're thinking it's the end of the world. You come across, a real life story, or maybe someone you knew or someone you don't know, someone afar off, a fellow Nigerian, it could be anybody, and you come across a book or you come across a video and you're realizing how the person wrote an exam in year 1 and they failed woefully and had an F. The person started a business at 35, the business went into bankruptcy and all of those things, and then you see the future of the person and you realize that regardless of how bad and how negative the things that happened to the person were, life still turned out well. That totally transforms your perspective of your present situation, right? And that is what I mean by perspective. Like, you just realize, okay, Toyin, you've messed up. Toyin, you failed, but you'll be all right. Things have not changed, right? But you have a mindset of it being all right. And I really believe that we should be very careful the things that we expose ourselves to, because the things that we expose ourselves to would form a perspective of life. And so it's important that you are very careful, because whether we know it or not, and it's also very subconscious, even the kinds of films that we watch. I remember a film that came out a while ago, and I purposely didn't watch the film because I knew from watching the trailer of the film that it had too much negativity, but it's the kind of film that I would normally watch. And so I remember someone even asking, talking about it with a friend, and the person said, oh, Toyin would have watched it, go and ask about the film. And so the person said, no, I didn't watch it, because I don't want that perspective, because whether you like it or not, we think that, oh, it's just a film, oh, it's just this. It's not just anything. It's the same way. Let me give a story, and I wasn't even thinking about this, but when I was growing up, my favorite kind of films were horror, vampire, Dracula, anything horror. I really like those films, and I don't even know why. But then I used to have a lot of bad dreams. Like, I used to have, my dreams, hey God, everything used to be chasing me inside the dreams, right? And then there was a time, a period in my life where I used to be home alone a lot. Do you realize that I'll be home alone and lock myself in one room till anybody gets back home? Why? Because all of the things that I was watching in the film, I was beginning to think that it was forming my perspective. So, you're watching a film whereby you are home alone and maybe there's no lights. There was no light, and the person opened the door, and as you opened the door, something happened to you. That started forming my point of view of even my life and my environment. So I was not afraid of the dark. I was afraid of being alone. I was afraid of everything. So I had to tell myself, Toyin, stop it. So even now that I'm an adult, I don't watch horror film again. There's nothing you want to tell me. Once I see horror, I don't do it. So I'm not even forming, I'm an adult, I know better, I'm a Jesus girl. I don't want it. Don't even bring it my way. No matter how nice it is, I stay away from it, because I am guarding my mind, and I'm guarding what is forming my point of view of life. I'm guarding what is forming my reference points, right? And how I make my decisions. Let's go into number 2, possibility. When I say possibility, what do I mean? When I watch these things as well, or read these kinds of books, I remember a book that I was reading, a Nigerian true life story, 2 books actually. Their experiences were so back to back negative that you would wonder if people like that ever had a future, or ever had hope, or if anything good could come out of their lives. Now, where these 2 people are today is nowhere compared to the kinds of things that happen to them as they were children, growing up in university. Like, it is two poles apart completely. And what does that give me? It sells me possibility. You know, it just tells me anything is possible. Like, it makes me realize, I remember finishing one of the books and I was like, wow. I was just so wild. Like, nobody should ever count themselves out. Like, never think that your life cannot be, you cannot achieve, you cannot become. And this is why I like stories, because they form for me my possibilities of the future. It makes me realize that, there's this popular saying, your background does not mean that your back has to be on the ground. I love that saying, right? Your condition or your situation is not permanent. And this is possibilities for anything. You could be going through a chronic illness, where you've been told you have a couple of months or something to live, where you've been told you have to live with this forever. All it takes sometimes is flip something you see, something you watch, something to hear, to just sell to you that possibility, to literally eradicate that fear and help you to build your faith. It could be failure, it could be a marriage. Maybe your marriage has been going through trying times and you're wondering, hey God, is this the end? People have even told you, you've been hearing other kinds of perspectives, because your perspective feeds your possibility mindset. So you've been hearing other things, like people that went through this, maybe you even have a friend who went through this and that was the end. But all you need is something that flips your possibility mindset, saying you might be going through this now, but you'll be fine. This doesn't have to be the future. It could be so many things. What is feeding your possibility? What is making you have that mindset to know that indeed with God and in life, all things are possible? It's easy to hear that line and say that line, but sometimes you need things to feed it. You need stories, you need perspectives, you need viewpoints, you need real stories, you need mindsets that have gone ahead of you, that have gone through that journey, and that can tell you that it doesn't have to be the way that you're thinking. It doesn't have to be a negative outcome. It doesn't have to be the end of the world. So when I say perspectives and possibilities, my question for you today is, what is feeding your perspective? What is feeding your possibility mindset? What is forming your viewpoint of life? What are you exposing yourself to? What are you watching? Who are you following? What are you listening to? Even music. Let me tell you guys something. Everything in life, every single day, is forming our perspectives and is forming our possibility mindset. Every single thing. So the kinds of songs you're listening to, you don't know they're having an effect on you, but they are. And I want us to be very, very careful. You see, when you're watching a film, whether it's even fiction, when you're reading a book, when you're reading anything, understand that this whole life is programming us in a certain direction, whether you know it or not. When you're driving past the BRT, and you see an advert and you got home and you felt, oh, I just want to eat a bar and okra this night, and you thought it was a very conscious decision. You don't know, maybe it's one BRT that just passed beside you in traffic and you just saw the picture on it, maybe a particular brand trying to sell you their seasoning, and the picture there was eba and okra. That thing passed beside you in less than 5 seconds, but sold you a mindset. So you got home and you just felt, this is what I want to eat. It might not have been a conscious personal decision. So everything every day is feeding us perspectives, is feeding us possibilities. My question is, are you aware of it? Are you conscious of it? And are you using it to your benefit? There's nothing that is bad. Social media is not bad. Technology is not bad. There's nothing that is bad. Everything is a tool that can either be used for positive or negative. My question is, are you aware of how the tool is being used by you, how it is being used for you, how it's being used against you, and how it's forming your perspective and your possibilities? I think it's very important that we are aware of this, and you're just helping yourself to, at every point in time, think right. That's what your perspective does for you. And at every point in time, see what the future can be in spite of what the present is, and to be able to, like the Bible said, for the joy that was set before him, he endured the cross. So he knew what the future was, that this thing is going to turn out right. So even if in the present nothing was going on that was fine, he was hanging on the cross, there was that positive, powerful possibility mindset. With my Father, all things are possible. I know I'm going to come out of this. I know this cross is not going to kill me. I'm resurrecting through this, and I'm delivering the world in this. And with that possibility mindset, that also feeds your present perspective, and that literally just transforms our lives. Leave this video thinking about two things. What is forming your present perspective, especially if you are maybe dealing with a certain issue in life? What is forming your thoughts about that issue? And what are your future thoughts about that matter? What are the possibilities you see? And if there are impossibilities, why do you see those impossibilities? And also, how can you change both your perspective and your possibility mindset? Thank you for watching this video. I hope that it has helped you. And until the next one, I will see you. Like I said, by the grace of the Lord Most High, I am back. Thank you guys for watching. See you later.